What's going on, y'all? Levi and Markham Ketchum here. Got some exciting new product news. If you're a Garmin user, especially the high-end guys, kind of talked about it on the Walleye Zone on Tuesday. Had the email. I hadn't read it yet, didn't know the specifics, so I kind of just leaked that out there. We've got specifics now. They're up on Garmin's website. It's not a secret anymore. Um, so if you had the high-end Garmin 8600 series on your boat, or you were thinking about it, Garmin did just release these new 9000 series fish finders for small boat guys. They had the 19, 22, 24, 27 out previously. For most Great Lakes guys, 10,000 bucks is not in the realm of affordable. So they're not cheap. But these new 10, 13s, and 17s are in the realm of affordable for some guys out there. So, what are you getting for the difference? So, comparing apples to apples as much as we can here. Still the same mapping across both. We're looking at XSV models, which, if you don't know, the only difference between a 9213 and a 9213 XSV is when you click the no on your sonar, it allows you to plug a traditional sonar transducer into it. That'd be your 2D down imaging, side imaging. We're not talking live scope, that's different completely. So traditional transducers. So we'll look at the XSVs because most people have at least one XSV on their system so that they can have their traditional sonar. If you're using it for live scope only, you would not need that, and it does save you a little bit of money. Saves you 500 bucks. So if you're only using it for live scope, you will save a little money there. We'll get down into the specs here. Right off the bat, what I'm really excited for, and I was hoping that they would put 4K into these smaller screens, is 4K output resolution on our display. So if you had a 8612 before, you already had 1080p, and it was great, especially if you have used a 1280 by 800, 126, 1222, 1243, those other 12-inch versions that Garmin has. These new ones are even better than the 8600 series. Why am I excited about that? Two reasons. One, hopefully we get a little bit more detail out of our side imaging. Humminbird guys, until the 8600 series and the GT56 came out, had the best side imaging on the market. With the 8612, it was really, really tight. I've had both, I've owned both. I've had an Apex with 1080p, and it's really, really tight. Not hardly not distinguishable. I think the Hummingbird's still a little better at the price point for the Explorers and Helixes, but anyways, I'm excited to see what the resolution increase on these new screens will do for side imaging. So that's first and foremost. Sorry for the extra scroll there. These screens are a little bigger. We'll go to the flush mount template here. So guys that had these flush mounted, if you got an 8612 currently, your cutout is 11 and 9/16 wide and 7 and 3/8 tall. The 13-inch screen, we'll zoom in a little bit, 8 1/4 tall, 12 and 3/4 wide. So about an inch wider and 7/8 of an inch taller. Not too surprising since it's a 13. So that's that. Actually, considering trying out one of these myself, and I already know the struggle I'm going to have on my boat because that extra 3/4 of an inch is going to put it into a windshield. So we'll have to modify it as needed there. Going down here, the rest of the specs, not too interesting until you get down to power consumption. You do pick up a few features here. I didn't see anything too drastic for us Great Lakes guys. 8612 typical draw, 1.3 amps. I mentioned on Walleye Zone podcast that these are very efficient, and they are. 1.3 amps is the best 12-inch on the market. I don't know what the HDS Pro 12 draws. It's right in there, 1315 somewhere. These new ones, they're a little power hungry, 4.7 amps. Um, so that'll be something to factor in for your wiring. I mean, you run two of these, you're drawing 10 amps. That will need some adequate wiring, as always, even more important now. So maximum current draw 5.4 amps versus 6. I've never seen 6 on an 8600 series. Going to your Sonar features, we've got dual 1 kilowatt power outputs, so that's pretty cool. The old ones were had 1 kilowatt power output, and then you had your different chirp channels. So now we've got dual 1 kilowatt. So you put your GT36, which is 2-in-1 down inside transducer on one, and your Airmar TM165 on the other. Great Lakes guys, you're rocking. Connections. Here is the next thing that's a big difference. You go down here, you got your NEMA, in and out, your HDMI in and out, plus a BNC video input, no change there. J1939, we've got that. And you see a change here, Garmin Marine Network ports versus Garmin BlueNet network ports. What's that? So let's scroll up here to the pictures and we'll take a peek and talk about it. So back of the units, we've got traditional RJ45 plugs here. This is what we've all been used to in the Garmin world since the beginning of time. If you paid attention on your live scope box, you'll notice that you have an adapter from a little blue cable on the GLS10. That's a BlueNet cable output. Garmin's been thinking about this for a while. They switched the plugs over to blue about a year and a half ago. Some guys noticed, some guys didn't. But there is a network infrastructure change here, and the reason is 4K screens and all the other data that is going through this network now is going to overwhelm this traditional style Ethernet protocol. Not a very smart IT guy, but I can put it in simple terms. More data, you need faster cables and hardware on the back end to receive and transmit. Simple as that. The rest of these pins, as you can see and from what I talked about, you got power, USB, 12 pin, 8 pin, NEMA 2000, J1939, audio, analog video, HDMI out, HDMI in. I'm guessing this is our new SD card to replace this one here. So what do you got to do if you want to merge some of these systems together? So you've already got a boat full of this and you want to add one network screen. Can you network it? Yes. So you need the Garmin BlueNet gateway. You go to Garmin's website, and for 350 bucks, you grab a network cable off your existing network, either from your GMS10 network box or a graph, or however you need to connect your existing network to this port, and then you plug this new BlueNet cable over to your 9000 series graph. Pretty easy. Let's see how far to let me zoom in. If you see, look at the data difference. 10 to 100 megabits versus 1000 megabits. So we're getting 10 times the data on the new BlueNet system. So back to the comparison here. I think that pretty much wraps it up. I can tell you at a Garmin dealer training I went to, we got to play with the 22 and I think the 24. The 22 for sure was there. but really snappy. When you tap that thing, it is like boom, boom, boom. Everything's fast. So the 8600s were fast. I've had them for 2 years now. Had them on the Warrior since almost I got it. I had Solixes for a while and they didn't last long. So I've had 2 great years with my 8600s. I've had 4 8612s. I sold 2 of them, put 117 on the front when they discontinued these. You can see permanently out of stock. So the good news is if you've got a system with some 8612s and you've been hemming and hawing, right now is a good time to buy an 8612 because you can get them for cheaper than this price currently till they're out of stock. So if you want one of those, give me a shout. We can work up a package deal. And if you want to venture down the 9000 series, probably gonna get one for myself to try and make sure that it gets my vote of approval as if it matters. But I want to see how they are, and I'm excited for what's coming down the pipe with this new 9000 series BlueNet infrastructure. As a closing note, all I can hope for is we get 4K live scope. Bottom separation, target separation, maybe some increased range. Wouldn't that be sweet? All right, if you made it to the end of the video, thanks for watching. If you have any questions, drop a comment and we'll see if we can get an answer for you. And if not, my Garmin reps will get a phone call. Thanks.